Hello again. In this section, we're going to looking at some primary source images mostly, but just a quick overview of what is that you're going to be looking at in this section. And the reason I focused on this as horrible and tragic and like, whoa, what a story it is really just to show that this system of lynching, racial terror, Jim Crow laws was not just in the South. It became everywhere in the United States, literally everywhere in the entire country, and Colorado included. This story is really shocking to me and literally makes me be like, this is like medieval Europe, like Dark Ages kind of torture and murder right here. But it was in the year 1900, 121 years ago, right here in Colorado. And what happened was a black family who had moved from Kansas looking for work, moved to eastern Colorado. A young white girl was murdered, raped and murdered. They didn't know who it was. There was really no evidence, no idea. Like, well, so we don't know who it was. But because this black family was in town, because of, again, the stereotypes of black people are just automatically criminals, again, not true, but an incredibly racist stereotype, they just wanted someone to blame. And they saw this black family and they're like, they must have done it. No proof at all. But they just accused them. And because of racism, they were assumed, oh, he must have done it just because you're black, you're born a criminal. And so this young man named Preston Porter Jr., his dad was also Preston Porter, so he went by John. He was only 15 years old, and he was accused of murdering this young girl with absolutely no proof. They had no proof against him at all. And they just wanted someone to blame, someone to say that they had done it. And so he was interrogated, tortured actually in the jail. And he said, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. But they threatened him and said, if you don't confess and say you did this, essentially lie and say you did it, then we're going to kill your brother and we're going to kill your dad too. They'll be lynched. And so essentially he was put in a situation of he had to say he did this, even though he did not, literally to save his own family, to save his brother and his father's life. He essentially had to sacrifice himself because the angry white people in Colorado were going to kill somebody. They were either going to kill his dad and his brother, or they were going to kill him. And that's a horrible situation to be in. But he confessed, even though he didn't do it, and just to save his family's life, knowing that he was going to be killed. And what happened was Preston was taken from the jail, again, held by the police. They take a train out to eastern Colorado, and this lynch mob stops the train. And they're like, no, sheriff, we're taking this guy. This isn't your deal anymore. We are taking this. Again, vigilante mob groups of people, not the police, but the police were totally a part of it, being like, yeah, sure, here you go. Take him. And then what they do is they literally burn Preston to death alive. Burn him at the stake is what it was called. They tie him to a big piece of wood, and literally while he's still alive, they burn him to death. And that is some medieval styled, like, horrible stuff right there. Lynching's horrible, but burning someone to death is worse than hanging them. Hanging is relatively a quick death compared to being burned alive. And this happened again in Colorado 121 years ago. And it wasn't just the South, it was very much an everywhere problem. So that's the reason I focus on this. You'll see some pictures from the newspapers. It's horrible, but if you want to see the actual picture of his lynching, which includes Preston Porter's burned body, just type his name into Google, Preston Porter Jr., go to Google Images, you'll find it. I included some pictures from the newspapers, but not his actual dead body, but that's up to you if you want to look it up. But again, this was very much a thing across everywhere in the entire country. And that's why we focus on this one particular story of someone being lynched in Colorado right here now.